producer surplus has to do with the sellers. Okay? So we're dealing with the supply curve on producer surplus. So the cost to the seller. The cost to the seller is a cost to do a job or make a product. And it means the seller's opportunity cost. If you think back to what we talked about opportunity cost is not just the cost of like if I were a painter, it's not the cost of the paint and the brushes to do the job. It's not just the cost that I'm paying my workers, my other people that I've hired to work for me. It's not just that cost. It's also the value of my time in doing the job. That's where you're making your money. The value you place on your time. If you just did your where the hard cost, where cash is changing hands of supplies and paying workers and stuff like that, if you just made that the cost of your job, you wouldn't make any money because you're not being compensated for your time. Opportunity cost includes time, right? So the cost is the lowest price that the painter would accept for work. Any questions on that slide? All right. So we have 4 possible sellers here. There are 4 painters. They're bidding on a house to do a job on a house. Okay? So after the bidding's done, who would win the job and how much would she pay for it? I mean, how much would he or she get for the job? Susan would win the bid. Okay. How much would what would be her winning bid? Just theoretically. $5.99, right. Just under Pam's lowest price cost, right? So she'd get the bid at $5.99. What's her producer surplus? Yeah. Susan's producer surplus is $99. All right. Everybody get it? Okay. So the producer surplus, the amount the seller is paid minus the cost of production, is the area of the graph below the price and above the supply curve. So, when you're looking at a graph and you're asked to identify the producer surplus, find the supply curve and then go up to the price. That's your area of producer surplus. So if we grab the graph of producer surplus, might look like a continuous graph would be so this is the bidding on the paint job. So we had 900 was one of the bids, and then we have 800, right? And so here's our supply curve, and at 800, okay, we have a demand of coin supplied of 30. Okay, so you have these other values. You might have 500 as a price, and so on, 10, 20, 30, all that stuff. Okay, so we shade the area of producer surplus. That's your area. Okay, if we had to calculate it, producer surplus equals, what would be the formula to calculate the producer surplus?
1/2 base height.
Yeah, 1/2 base times height, so it'd be 1/2. The base is 30, and the height is what? 800. So that's going to give me a producer surplus in this case of, 40 times 30 is what, $1,200?
Yes.
$1,200. That's your producer surplus. I should say PS, not just P. That's producer surplus. All right. Any questions on producer surplus? Yes.
Should that be 800 times
Oh, yeah, it was 800, not 80. Yeah, so that's going to be what? 12,000? Would that be 400 times 30? Yeah, it would be 12,000 would be the producer surplus. All right.
So
Yes.
is that how much more the seller is making? Like then they
It's not what they're making. It's how much they're getting above what they would be willing to charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So that's it. So